It looks like... Yeah, it looks like they're in turns now, so it should be... outside of the one that got a little bit of a time extension. It shouldn't be too much longer here. So again, here's the deck that we've been playing. We're currently 6-0 in the... this is 6-0 in the Lorcana 2024 New Year's event on Pixelborn here. Why am I doing this? Okay, so our deck that we've been playing, we're playing 6/1 drops, the Cuscos, and just 3 Teeth Inhibitions. Cusco helps smooth out the draws past turn 1 here, so that we don't always have to have the snake, and we don't always have to have a 1-drop. Sometimes we just don't, or we even ink it, play the Cusco, replace itself, and it is also good as a Lady Tremaine protection as well. Fidget has been very good today against Mini Surfer. So in this spot where, say we're on the draw, our opponent plays Minnie Mouse Surfer, we can follow it up with Fidget, and now they either can't quest or sing with the Minnie Mouse, otherwise Fidget just gets to eat it. And because this has 3 power, we can just basically quest or sing with impunity, and there's not really much that they can do about it. They just get dumped on, and it's been very good for us in the mirrors. It is ink in a lot of other matchups, though. Stopper Chris, appreciate the follow. So numbers-wise, for some of our other stuff, obviously we're running the full complement of Surfers, Snakes, Friends on the other side, Mimfox, Maleficent, Sorceress, Merlin Goats, and the Merlin Rabbits. Got the Be Prepareds, like you would expect. We're running 4 Ursulas, because this card is incredibly good in this metagame currently. 2 Tremaines, and 2 Elsas is the split here for our remaining uninkables. And then we have 2 Maleficent Dragons, because oftentimes we only really the one. The other ones generally ink a lot of the times. And our full play set of Mauis, because I think it's better than having Maleficent, just because it's cheaper, even though they're both ink a lot of times as well. So what is the hardest part about playing against green discard with this deck? So one of the things that can happen is if your opponent goes turn 2 Bucky, turn 3 Bucky, turn 4 John, you literally can't interact with any of those cards unless they turn them sideways of their own volition, right? So they can just start playing Floodborn characters, like on turn 5, 4 or 5 even, and just start making you discard your whole hand while also developing their board. And you can't do anything about it until Be Prepared. So it makes it really challenging to try and compete with in these colors specifically. Because Bucky and because John both have Ward, it makes it a pretty tricky matchup. There are some spots on the play that we can, just ink our nonsense, play things that draw cards, and then try to get to 7, Be Prepared to clean up the nonsense there before they make us discard too much stuff, because you kind of have to have enough ink to be able to play your things. And eventually, if you play, say, a couple of Ursulas, because this draws a card, because it is a very reasonable threat against them, sometimes this as a follow-up to Be Prepared is enough to sort of claw through it. Other times you can just jam like 3 Minnie Mouse Surfers and kill them on the play, on turn 6 before they can wipe your board, because you just dump your whole hand out, and then while they're trying to set up doing discard with Sad Beast or whatever, you're just like 2, 4, 6, 6, 6, and they're dead. But if you don't have those draws and they have a really good draw, this deck just doesn't have a good way of interacting with John or Bucky. The way that you beat the Mufasa deck with decks like this is when you're looking to deal with a Mufasa, don't just Be Prepared and give them stuff. Try to set it up in such a way that maybe you kill it with a Maui and then Be Prepared it, or you trade a couple of your resources into it and then sing Ursula with Be Prepared, so that the thing that they get off of it also gets cleared off the board. That's kind of the way that you can interact with the Mufasa. any deck like that really just loses to, like, 2 Be Prepareds. It's just a creature deck at the end of the day. It just has Mufasa that has ways of giving them card advantage through something like Be Prepared. But if you go around what that is doing, and you just sort of don't suffer the, Mufasa into Mufasa nonsense, then it usually isn't too hard to manage with Be Prepareds a lot of times. I'm still in this, Alice. They can lore up reasonably quickly, but a lot of their characters do die pretty well to, like, the Fox Mim and the Maui. Like, they don't have anything that's crazy. You know, if they do the Rapunzel line, like, you just get to kill Rapunzel with Maui, just like it always was. Or if they have, say, Doc, you just get it with a Mim. Like, they do get lore, but as long as you can clear up what they're doing, it's generally hard for them to kind of keep up with it too much. I do think that it's a good deck, and I'd like to pursue some stuff with the Mufasa, but I have played... I played quite a bit of Magic before this, yeah. I played a little bit of Pokemon, but nothing really terribly competitive with it. But quite a bit of Magic, yeah. We are waiting on an extra time game that is now in turns. That was pretty alright at SPV, yeah. I'd consider that a card game, I suppose. An auto battler card game. Yeah, have you heard of this game called Storybook Brawl? I have. I heard it's a favorite of some individuals. A little brutal. Yeah, I think Lorcana's great. It's a lot of fun, and I think it has a lot of potential as well. Obviously, it kind of remains to be seen kind of what the organized play looks like. You know, once the third set comes out, we're going to get some sort of an organized play announcement right around there as well. We'll get some comp rules. We'll see what those look like. You know, that'll sort of dictate how much I want to keep investing into a game like this. But so far, it's really fun. The cards have a lot of depth. Like, I think the game has a reasonable amount of depth to it. That as long as they don't, like, kind of mess up on what they're doing for their organized play, I think it has a lot of legs, for sure. Because they've already basically caught up with their product, like their physical product. They've got enough printing time now that they're actually getting it on the shelves. You can find it for right around MSRP if you want it at a lot of places, and that was one of their biggest hurdles. I don't know, these are the 6 colors that they have for now. Like, these are the inks that they've decided on, which I think is a pretty good spread of colors. Like, it is possible that they could go... It is possible that they could go for another color, but it seems like... I mean, you think about Magic, and Magic had 5 colors, and then, like, there was always talk of adding a 6th to make it a little bit, you know, have a little bit more depth to it, or have a little bit more variety, and this just starts with 6. So, you know, it'd be like that. Any cheap competitive deck, I mean... So, there are some pretty inexpensive, like, sort of blue-red decks. Like, this one is not particularly expensive. I don't know how much the Ragabans are. Played this, it was fun. It does not have a great red-purple matchup, if the matchup is played well from their side. But this is sort of a combo deck. There are some like, there's a green-red sort of evasive deck that's pretty good. Yeah, I don't think... I think Ragavan's a couple bucks. But those are a couple of decks that I think are reasonably budget. As long as you sort of stay away from some of the big legendaries, you can get away with a pretty inexpensive deck. Like, even something like this, you could... yeah, Ragavan. Radavan. You can go look here. If you look at the top one, it has a link to all my decks. Yeah, I don't know. What would my second deck choice be? Probably some flavor of this, but I don't have nearly as many games on, like, the steel variant of this. Enough that I felt confident playing it in this. And I generally tend to like the Be Prepared stuff a little bit more anyway. Like, I really like Ursula. Ursula's not so good in that other deck. This one is more of a tempo, like a tempo sort of aggro deck even, that, you know, plays some stuff to the board, like the Beasts and the Tinkerbells, and then sort of just like Elsa to close it out, as opposed to necessarily needing the Goat combo to close. I think that would probably be, like, I'm probably going to put some video together, play some games of that as well. It's the next roundup? It might be. Let me refresh. Oh, sick. Alright. So next round is up. Let me refresh here. And then we'll wait for them to sit down, or at least acknowledge that the next round is up. And then we'll battle round 7 of the 2024 tournament here. I feel like I'm playing against discard, and I hate that. Just can feel it in my bones. John, how dare you? I'm against 0. Unfortunately. Unless there's a mispair or something. Pretty sure I'm against him. You know, sometimes you gotta copium where you can get it. You just never know. Though, generally, it would just pair you again into the same one. It's not like I'm somewhere in the middle where it would make a huge difference. Like, it's rare that it's gonna repair you near the top like that. Maybe my opponent won't show up. Cancel. Can't cancel. Alright, we can't cancel. So we wait. Alright, we'll battle. We'll take our lumps if we get a bad matchup. Or we may just be on the play game 1 and play 4 surfers and just steamroll. Who knows? If I have to kill out of the client and redo it, I will. Wait for him to try and get in, see if it pairs us, and if it doesn't, it should time out in a bit too. Well, we go first. That's a start. I almost want to keep a B prep. Seems weird, but... we kind of need a 3-drop, though. Okay. Alright, we pass. We didn't need those cards anyway. Oh, that's a good draw, actually. I would prefer if I played a 3-drop on 3, but... I almost should have just inked this instead of playing it. Well, there's a Bucky. I could... no, I think this is better just to draw the 2 cards. With the way that my hand is. Ugh. Ugh. Oh, you inked the smash. Maybe we play the surfer anyway. Oh my god, the Bucky John starts. We don't need fidget for sure. We play the Merlin, we bash. Okay, I get sort of a sudden chill because he can't sing it. Hey, bad speller, appreciate the follow. I think I'm going to get rid of Kuzco here. I mean, every single game I've ever played against Zero Skater is exactly like this, by the way. This is not unusual for him. Against me specifically. Like, this is par for the course. We definitely don't need fidget. Like, if he unironically untaps and does Lucifer, Bippity Boppity Lucifer twice, like, that wouldn't surprise me either. I don't think that I play this Maui. I think I'm just going to bash here and say go. He's playing discard. This card says whenever you play a Floodborn character, each opponent chooses and discards a card, and it can't be targeted. And then this one says whenever your opponent discards a card, you draw a card. So the whole deck is based around these 2 cards, and if they don't have them, it's kind of mid. He mulligans 7 a lot. Like, when you have an opener and you just, like, dump 7 and then draw to find them, it's a lot easier to get them. If he has a Bucky, he'll just, you know, sometimes send 6 back or whatever. Yeah, what are you gonna do? Our draw isn't terrible for this. Like, if we can B-prep on 7, so like in 2 turns if we can B-prep, we draw 2 cards off of it as well. And then we can follow it up with an Ursula or another B-prep. Like, we're not just dead. This is a single Bucky draw instead of a double Bucky draw, which does matter. It's another Bucky. Into another John. Jesus. Okay. So I play another rabbit. I ink a thing. I pass. I mean, like, I don't think there's another out here. I just have to hope he doesn't make me discard 6 cards. Or 5 cards. If he has double Jafar in hand, it's like Shift Jafar, Shift Jafar. And then that's not great for us. As I speak it into existence. So annoying. There's no IDs in this tournament, Carlum, for whatever reason. I mean, it's possible that he doesn't have another Jafar as well, and he's just doing this with the intention of trying to draw as many cards as possible and still have stuff to work with, but we could also just get boomed here. He has essentially recouped his hand, though, so that's bad for us. I mean, Zero is the only player of this deck. Nobody else is playing this. It's just Zero. Because nobody else is lucky enough to hit Bucky every single turn. And then another Bippity Boppity, and then we're just, like, in the Shadow Realm. Like, this is what I mean by this matchup is fucking impossible, and anybody that says that it's good is just wrong. Okay. Guess we're on the play now. He just made us discard 6 cards, and they drew 12. So, like, I know he can just shift it. I was going to discard 2 more cards, Alice. I was going to have 0 cards in my hand. I did not get to turn 7. I discarded 6 cards that turn. It is okay to think that I'm wrong, but you are also just wrong. I was going to discard my entire hand, and I had no option then of playing B-Prep. Because I didn't have any ink for it. Oh my god. You must do the B-Prep. You're right. I'm an idiot. That's why I instantly conceded there. You're right. How could I have been such a fool? I was conceding in response to discarding 2 more cards. So I would have 0 cards in hand. Which is not enough cards to win the game. So I was going to have 6 ink and no cards. Here's a Bucky. I don't know, dude. Like, I don't got the run goods like this. I can't handle this deck. Yeah, no shit, right? Oh, Bucky John? Holy shit. Never seen that before. It's literally just a combo deck that we can't interact with. Like, there's nothing that I can do. I can just choose to discard cards. Which is what I will do. Yeah, I don't know why any cards have ward. Ward is just such an annoying mechanic. When there's nothing, there's no cards that interact with this before turn 1,000 is the problem. If there was something for like 4 or 5 that just dealt 2 damage to everything, then it would be different. Alright, we draw more cards. We ink a fidget. And we draw more cards. All we will do is draw cards. I mean, Tremaine can deal with it once. Here's a Sad Beast, yep. Sad Beast, discard a card. You can discard Elsa. It is not looking promising. We still need a full extra turn. Like, we need to be alive with these cards in hand for an entire extra-ass turn, which is difficult. It is not impossible, but it is difficult. They choose. They are the ones that have to choose. I assume Jafar is going to kill Maleficent here, but that means that I'm going to be able to use this rabbit to probably kill Jafar. Just to draw an extra card. Yeah, it's 6. Literally, watch him play. Is this every round? It is absolute insanity. This is round 7, yeah. Yeah, oh, absolutely. I have no doubt that Zero could play other decks if they put this much time into them as well. No doubt. Okay, this into another rabbit. Pass. The problem being that even if I board wipe this, which I have to, they still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards in hand. And they have not quest at all. So even my Ursulas are not great here. It is unfortunate. Denaldi. The opponent is playing a discard combo deck, essentially. This, anytime that they play a Pixelborn character, each opponent chooses and discards a card. And this is whenever your opponent discards 1 or more cards, you get to draw a card for each one discarded. And, like, all of these cards are Floodborn as well. So, and because this is Ward, we can't target it with any of the things that we're playing. Like, none of our things really interact favorably with it. So essentially what our opponent is able to do is if they always go Bucky John or Bucky John or whatever, then the specific deck that we're playing doesn't have a favorable way of interacting with it. We don't really have one. We have a Wrath, like a board wipe on 7, which is okay, but our opponent has drawn like 10 cards. Right? Like, I don't know what our opponent is thinking about here. Probably trying to figure out if they want a quest or what. If they want a bippity-boppity one of these. Yes, they opt not to bippity-boppity. I mean, but no, if you draw the last card in your deck, you just lose. Ursula doesn't draw a card here because they don't have any lore. This was an actually unironic, not bad draw. Because now when he does Bucky Bucky John or whatever to refill, then we can blow it up again. Or Beast Herc. I could let him draw one card. That's not the end of the world. I don't think B-prepping this makes sense. Letting them draw one card doesn't matter here. Like, I don't love our position, but... yeah, this is entirely possible just to suspend this. Ideally, they quest. I don't know if they will or not, but I would be fine even playing an Elsa for tempo, too. This is a winnable game, but this is our on-the-play game. On the play, this deck is much more degenerate. Manko, appreciate the follow. There's a Donald Duck. Please quest. Quest for 2. Suspend is a term for Magic. It basically, you cast the spell and then it doesn't do anything until the following turn. Okay, well, if they're not going to... yeah, I'm not going to be prep it either. I'm going to Ursula. Ursula and Cusco, I think. Or it's Elsa, rather. Elsa and Cusco. Elsa on Beast and Herc. And then this, and then pass. No, they wouldn't. They are friends of the stream, but he's a good dude, yeah. I may bitch about what they're playing, but I can appreciate that they are a good player playing a deck that is just a bad matchup for us, you know? Tink is fine. Quest with Donald Duck. So we've got 6. Plus a goat. Plus a Mim. Alright, we got 1. I offered them to take the draw again, but they declined. Okay, so we don't want this. We don't want this. We definitely don't need these. Okay, this draw is fine. McCoy and Lights Out, appreciate the follows. Maybe they don't have the Wombo and they don't get us with it. This hand is not stellar, but it could be a lot worse. That's good for us. It means that they don't necessarily have it right away. I think given our hand, we can play the Olaf and then do Snake. We may end up just casting Friends on the Other Side hard. Yeah, Pavel fixed all the actions in the last patch. Don't you do it. We dodged! We have a chance! Oh my goodness. We can play the game. Okay, now what? This is as far as I had planned out. Guess we get rid of Maui. I mean, I'll still say it. He's always got it. He's going to play John, and then just blast me with the Lucifer on 5. Oh, yeah. I have played like 9 games against discard. Oh my god, he's just playing a regular steel game? Holy fuck, I can beat that. I can win against regular steel. What are my thoughts on Pinocchio? It is a card. Which Pinocchio? There's like 4 of them. Do we... I don't think I quest. I think I just draw 2 and say go. I was considering miming, like, doing this and doing that, but I'd rather just draw 2 cards now. The one that exerts. I think there's only so many slots for uninkables, and I think there's just better cards now. Like, there's just better cards to be playing. I do think it's cute, the Pinocchio, and I played it in the last event, but I don't necessarily think that it's good enough. If aggro, like hard aggro, playing 1-drops and Arthurs and whatever was more real, then I could see wanting to do more of that stuff, for sure. But that sort of aggro deck doesn't really exist in the metagame right now as much. So it's a lot less concerning, basically. Chief and FSU, appreciate the follows. It is a good answer to, like, Arthur, but if you don't really need to answer Arthur because nobody's playing it because there's too much steel, then it doesn't matter as much. That's essentially my thoughts on it. Shift Tinkerbell, huh? Okay. What are we doing after that? Just questing, huh? Okay, fair enough. I think I'm getting rid of this Minnie Mouse. I think I'm playing this rabbit. And I'm just bashing this Hercules. Maybe he's just gonna wheel me. He's playing something totally different. Just slams down a wheel. What a beating that would be. I'm likely going to be friendsing just to draw 2 more cards. Hey, some of the discard decks play wheel. I'd believe it. I can still lose this game. It will be difficult, but I have played versions of this that could still lose. So, Wheel is a card from Magic the Gathering. In this, it's called the Whole New World. But basically what the card says is... everybody discards their hand and draws 7. He doesn't play it because it's just not good in that deck, basically. I do have a pretty good hand, that's true. B-Prep as well. Also nice. I could just run out Maui. I think I'd rather do this. And then I'm just going to play one Olaf here. Not both, just one. Yeah, this isn't great from Zero's perspective here. We do both get to draw a card, but I have so many cards in hand, like the discard half of the deck is not functional. These are the draws that are the really rough ones for this deck, where they just kind of don't do anything. Yeah, there are some discard decks that play John and then they Whole New World, and then however many cards you have in hand, like you discard them all and they draw that many. It's cute, but it's really not that good, in my opinion. This feels like a pretty good game. Again, never count out like a random Bucky pile. Being able to just like steamroll your shit, but I do think I'm in an okay spot right now. I probably could have gotten rid of the mini. Nah, we're probably going to use that. Well, we'll see what they do with this Tinkerbell here. Other than just making me discard one card. Swords, blow up my board. Oh, bippity boppity. Sure, that's reasonable. So they make me discard another one. We'll get rid of a Maleficent here. Yeah, I should have kept the Cusco. I realized that after I didn't. That would have been favorable for me. So they have another Tinkerbell in hand. I honestly think my play is just to draw some cards, and then... I don't think I Tremaine. It's not a bad play on this board, though. Actually, I can just Tremaine. I don't know what I'm thinking. I just do this Tremaine and pass. Like, any one of the ones that I hit is pretty good for us. Like, if I hit the Tinkerbell, that's pretty okay. If I hit the Donald Duck, like, it stops their card draw. And if I get rid of Bucky, that's also fine. We hit the Tinkerbell, so I'm going to quest with both of these. Because they have another Tinkerbell in hand. Hey, well, boy, appreciate the follow. Yeah, it ends up working out pretty well, the Tremaine. I was thinking about it, but realistically, it's pretty good here. I'm probably just going to run out Ursula next turn. Like, we can let them draw 1 or 2 cards. I think it's okay. Maybe. We'll see what they play. If it's just Tinkerbell to blow this stuff up, then... I think we're getting rid of Maui here. With the 2 and the 6. So this is the number of months that we've been subscribed to the Patreon. I might just B-prep this. Like, I might just draw 2 cards. Well, I lied. I do think I'm going to draw 2 cards, but I think I'm just going to play an Ursula then. Do this, play Ursula. And then we'll give them a turn to do stuff. Oh my god, right? We'll give them 1 turn to do stuff, and then we can sing it and play an Ursula, and then that kind of closes the door on the game. Yeah, more Mims is good. The Ursula was a good draw as well. Like, once we get the other Ursula down, then we can just start doing Mim Rabbiting. I know he's been trying to bait the B-prep. That's why I'm doing something else. Like, he has probably a Sad Beast in hand. But it's, like, the only thing left, so... And, like, I don't really need the card draw either anymore. As much. This has drawn me plenty of cards. Ideally, I'd like to get it off the table, but... Are we shifting another Tinkerbell? No. We're just questing. Okay. Could have another Bippity. Yeah, there's a lot going on if you're not out here just trying to super high roll the whole universe. So we're trying to bait out the B-prep again here. I don't necessarily think that I have to. Because I only have the 1, which is a little awkward. What happens to me if I just bash and play another Ursula? You can quest for 4. What if we do this and kill the Donald Duck with a Mim? And just leave them with the Tinkerbell? Do we care? Because this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so they'll go to 13. I don't know if I start to win the race if I start now is the problem. I could Teeth the Duck, that's true. But I don't really want to make... Like, I don't want to put damage on these things either. Unnecessarily. I'm better off just doing this. Get rid of Kuzco. We'll just play another Ursula. We drew another Tremaine. That's actually huge. So if this Tremaine is still alive, we're going to shift onto it, and then we'll Fox Mim something. And then we don't have to be prep at all. It's also good to keep the Teeth in hand just in case they play Lucifer as well. Like, this deck doesn't have a ton of answers to Ursula to begin with. I mean, I don't like giving him cards either, but he also only has 6 ink, which does play a part. Like, we're almost within GOAT range if we just get to untap with this. So if their plan is just to quest for 4 and then pass again, that doesn't really do it for us, I don't think. Or for them. We probably don't need all of these foxes. We can maybe get rid of one. So there's a John. They're going to try to draw a couple cards here. Get rid of one fox. And he's trying to dig for something. I don't know if there's a ton that can interact super favorably with the Ursulas, though, is the problem for them. And if we get to untap and quest for 8, then we can do Goat, Mim. We probably don't even quest to the full 8. Yeah, Lorcana's great. We're sudden chilled again. Okay, this time I think it is just Teeth and Ambitions then. So they do still have some lines for Bippity Boppity. We can sing it with Donald or Tinkerbell. Yeah, it looks reasonable to, like, get 3 or 5 and then quest. I don't know if they're favored in a race here, so... yeah, that makes sense to me. Blast the Ursula, but it doesn't really matter here. And they flash in the Tinkerbell to draw another card. Which is unfortunate for us. I don't like discarding all these cards. Okay, are we done now? Alright. So we quest, go to 11, could go to 14, 14, 15... yeah, that doesn't really make sense. I think we're going to do this. How does he beat 3 Ursulas? Like, they have... each one of those characters is 2. This is 2, 4, 6, 7. We put him to 14. I don't want him to be at 14. Rather than be at 7, and then we just play an Ursula of our own. Or another Ursula, rather. And then we do this and pass. And then this leaves us lines for, like, Tremaine, bounce Tremaine. We can Mim, bounce Ursula, replay Ursula. We'll see what they play. It's probably Beast and something. Beast and Herc. Sure. So I do this. I think we get rid of the Fidget. Wait, no, I don't even get rid of the Fidget. Now I just do the Fox stuff. Right? No, I can just untap Ursula. I think that's better. Alright. It doesn't necessarily seal the deal if we play Tremaine. Like, okay, imagine they sack the Beast, they play Herc, and then they just, like, eat the Ursula. Replaying Ursula here means that we can still win with the Goat from 17. And then... like, it's impossible for them to deal with the Ursula in these colors without directly bouncing it. I mean, I know that they have Shift Herc in their deck, and there's worlds where they Shift Herc, smash, and kill Ursula, and then all we have is Tremaine. Like, the Beast doesn't matter. Losing our Ursula does. It is possible that it doesn't matter there. But now we can play Goat. We can Mim the Goat. And then we can Ink Maui and play the Goat. Okay, so that was a rough matchup for discard. But we had a good game 3 where they didn't have the Bucky start, which is what we needed. And now we are 7-0. Whew, that was a rough game, though. That was 0. Yeah, I beat... Yeah, I gotta play 2 more rounds. This is... Here, I'll bring it up. Let me report real quick here. Were we on the play in game 1? No, we were on the draw. It was 3 games. They were, and then they won, and then we won 2. Yeah. So it was this, and then me, yes, and then them, me. No, we didn't tie. Get the fuck out of here. I went first, and then I won. Me. Go. Yes. Okay. Why am I in 9th place now? That doesn't make any sense. I just... What? Game, please. I have 21 points. Get the fuck out of here. 9th place, my ass. Yeah, that's better. Okay. This deck is on Dreamborn, yeah. 282. Yeah. I hope that they're not also on discard. That would be unfortunate. It does sound like a very discard name. The kind of person whose name would be the Rat would just be discard for sure. No, Skater is John here, who we just fought. The Rat. I don't know how he's able to get nicknames in here, or is his name just The Rat? Could change my first name to Jeebus, so it makes more sense, but it's kind of whatever. Okay, so that was a game that we definitely played. That was rough. So you can see where in game 1, and the reason that we conceded so quickly was because they just blasted us for 6 cards, you know, and it was pretty rough. So those are the sort of non-games that discard can give you, where they play the Buckies, they play the Johns, they blast your hand, they bippity boppity do it again, whatever, and then you're sent to the damn Shadow Realm. But that third game was the opposite. We had a good mull, where we had a pretty solid hand that had a decent amount of draw, and then our opponent just didn't find the Bucky and didn't hit the John. So then the deck just is the combo part of the deck is a lot slower, right? Yeah, I'm running 4 Be Prepared, but like you have to. It's rough. It's really rough. having the B preps in hand when they get blasted. The discard matchup is not great, but it is not a 0-100 matchup, right? Just like most things. Yeah, it's not even the full combo part. Like, I'm not even sure if he's playing the Lucifer stuff. I assume that he's playing some Lucifers if he's playing Bippity Boppity. Because generally, if you go Lucifer and then Bippity it on turn 5, you just, like, crush it. Well, this is not always the main discard. Like, all time, if we go and we look at this one, right? So this is another 17 games. There's 5 more losses over here. Like, come on. You know, it's just like getting your whole hand blasted when they also draw 2 cards for every one you discard. It's harsh. It's rough out there. And there's just not enough wheels in the format to really contest what they're doing, because they could just play a normal steel game against those other decks, right? They play the Hercules and the Tink shifts and do that whole thing, and that's usually good enough against some of the wheel decks that normally would counter it. Danny DeVito, yeah. But again, you know, even if we imagine that matchup is 80-20 or 70-30, sometimes, you know, their deck doesn't work out, your draw happens to be really convenient, and you piece it together and it's good, right? Yeah, the double Bucky into, like, it can be rough. Yeah, GG0. That was your game 1. I'm just like, I'm getting boomed. Like, what do I do? And then it's just the flip side of the coin, right? In game 3, that was just the worst. You know, such is combo, right? I assume that you're gonna blast me in the finals. Yeah, 75-25, and they get it about 75% of the time. Yeah, that sounds about right. Polmao, appreciate the follow. Yeah, like, game 2 was my on the play, right? Which is, I'm generally more favored there than I am on the draw by, like, a wide margin. You know, being able to get to B prep a full turn earlier, having as many, like, friends on the other sides and rabbits and stuff, so I can try to get around it, helps, you know, especially on the draw. On the play, or on the play rather, on the draw. But the earlier B prep to, like, make it so that you have to now put shit back on the board, and then I can play an Ursula into, like, another B prep, and then it's brutal. It was really close. Our round 1 was tight. How you been doing since then? Bats, appreciate the follow. Yeah, the Cuscos were pretty good, right? The Cusco pretty consistently was giving us, what, 3 or 4 lore? 5-2's pretty good. It was giving us 3 or 4 lore, and, like, you can't really kill it favorably because it just draws us a card, which is the opposite of what you want. The reason that I don't usually like the 1-3 into Cusco, maybe on the play, like, if you go this into the like double Surfer or something, but it's rough to just run out of 1-drop. If they get you with really aggressive discard early, you end up being stuck on, like, 5 ink. I've tried the plan of just swarm the board and beat the discard deck, but it doesn't always get there. And if you ever stall and they get a full turn to just, like, muck up your board with a Tinkerbell shift or whatever, then all of a sudden all of you're at, like, 12 lore, but you have no cards in hand and, like, 5 or 6 ink, and it's just not enough. It essentially becomes very similar to what happened in our game 1, except you are the one that discarded all your cards. Yeah, it can counter the discard plan, but not the steal half. Though there are some draws where you just, like, surfer, and just turn them all sideways, and they just don't have the swords. And then the discard is irrelevant, and you just kill them with surfers. That is plan B of this matchup. If you're on the play, you're just like, Cusco into Surfer, Surfer, Surfer. Just turn them sideways. Just like we did in, what, like round 4 or whatever, where we ended the game on turn 6. If you do that against any deck, it's good. Weird. I know. It's crazy. Crazy to imagine. But if you just keep putting evasive threats on... Why is Surfer the best creature? It's just Pongo, but it costs 1 less. Like, how good is Pongo? Oh, goodness. Pongo's so strong. And he's a cute dog. Like, everything about it, awesome. Pongo is great in the first set. Look at him. Look at his face. And then Mini is just Pongo, but it costs 1 less. You don't care about 2 power. You don't need that. Nah, you don't need that at all. Yeah, the 1/3 into Cusco into double Mini or something is a lot of pressure that they have to interact with right away. And sometimes they just can't do that. Like, if you're going to play the aggressive draw, like, you just blast it out, you know, and you play aggro, and you just hope that that's good enough. And sometimes it is. You know, sometimes it is plenty to win those matchups, because they have to have specifically, like, Shift Tink into Swords, or sometimes, like, Beast into Swords is good enough. Like, there's enough shift in the deck with Herc, too, that it's more possible, but you have to have the swords. But yeah, you just have to play your hands as they are. And sometimes on the draw, you just have to, like, hold back stuff and try to get to the B prep instead of barfing out your hand. Like, the draw versus play matters a ton in that matchup, because they're going to try and make all of your cards go away. But if you can, you know, Cusco into Mal, Sing, draw 2, like... Yeah, the VOD is on. It should be on right now. And then I'm also going to put these all up on YouTube. Probably going to break them into, like, round 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then maybe the final round. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, if you choose the aggro plan, if you choose violence, right, and it doesn't work, there is no chance of recovering. Like, if you just ink all your stuff and then put it all on the field and they wipe it, you're dead. You know, you don't have that option of B prep, but sometimes that's your hand. You know, if you don't have all the draw spells, that's all you can do. And you just have to blast it and hope that that's good enough. And sometimes it is, you know. Sometimes it is good enough. Like, the discard deck literally is just a combo deck in this matchup specifically, because we don't have the ability to interact with Bucky and John in these colors early on. The combo is just play some Buckies, play John, and then, you know, use them to make me discard a bunch of cards. That's good enough a lot of times. Because all of your cards are also your lands, also your resource for the game. If they keep you away from being able to be prepared, like if they discard your whole hand by the time you get to 5 ink, you can never win that game. Because even if you're drawing perfectly, you know, you rip into like one of these draw things into something that you can ink at the end for 2 rounds in a row and then rip the be prepared, you still just have no cards in hand and they have like 10. I've played this matchup enough times where I do be prep them and then they immediately just go Bucky, Bucky, John. And it's like, well, shit. But I do think that the discard deck is also good. I think that Zero is probably the best player playing it, which makes sense given that they've played, I don't know, what like 1,000 games on it or whatever. I don't think anybody else is really innovating on that deck in the same way. Like adding the Hercules package to be able to compete with Ursula's and the other steel stuff. Yeah, if you gotta aggro, you gotta. And you just hard commit, and then, you know, you take the L if it doesn't work, and you just go next. Okay, so it is going to time in just a moment here. 4 minutes left. That was 5 minutes ago. Okay, so it is time and round. I'm going to take a really quick break. I'm going to go pee, and then I will be ready for the next round in just a moment. So thanks for hanging out. We'll be back in 10 minutes or less, and then we will be on to round 8. Okay, we back. We've got another 8 minutes, 7 minutes, something like that. Yeah, I can check. It should, I think, tell me when we get paired, unless his name is just the Rat. I would assume it's in the check-in, maybe. Maybe not. Nope, they're just the Rat. It's the Rat checking in. Yes, I believe that it is them from Hearthstone. Given that I clicked on their Discord thing and their banner was the pairing thing, like the spinning orange wheel or whatever. So that would make sense to me. We'll see what they're playing. I would assume some flavor of RP would be my guess. I don't know for sure. I don't know what discards they're in. Or discords. Oh god, stop. Discord, why are you the way that you are? It does not even tell me. Neat. Thanks, Discord, you suck. Fine. As far as I'm aware, I think it's him for sure. Yeah, from what I have been told, nobody's allowed to intentionally draw, correct? Only bash. Round 8 should be up pretty shortly here. I think we're just waiting on the last rounds to finish now that they're in time. Oh no, they're not even in time. Oh no, yeah, they are. Yeah, I can show the standings again, sure. So here's our standings. I don't know if I can really expand this. Oh, here's the standings though. As far as I know, none of the uncompleted games. There should just be the 2 undefeated. Yes, I appreciate the 1 month. Thanks for that. No idea. It could be an aggro deck. It could be a discard deck. It could be anything. Who knows? I would assume it is one of the standard decks as opposed to something terribly off meta. I would assume RA as well. Aggro could be rough. I haven't played against the aggro at all today. Yeah, that makes sense. Aggro could do well in this meta because people have sort of gotten away from playing it. And I seem to punch into a lot of the opponents who would have been pretty good against them as well. But we might get boomed. It's alright. Again, we battling. Since there's no drawing, all we can do is battle. So that we can get our ranking up. I don't want to be second, tied for second with 3 people. Like, what does this look like? Out of here with that shit. We want to be the big winners. I want to be number 1. Which I assume I probably will be based on the results so far. Given that there's only been 2 tournaments, right? Unless, of course, somebody scoops it and just gets the old 13-0. Don't be number 1. I know, there's always a curse. Yeah, I did the other tournament. I went 7-1 in that one. With a similar list, but not... it had crabs still, and no Elsas. Had like another Tremaine, 1 less Maleficent. That was basically the difference. Elsa is a pretty good tech for the current metagame, I think. I think it's sort of necessary in this a lot. To be able to buy some tempo and close out. Like, there's some spots where it does something that no other card can do. Being able to freeze 2 cards and then potentially bounce it back and do it again. Like, I wish that it cost a little less. 8 is a lot, but getting to 10 or 12. Generally, I try to get to like 13, 14 max-ish, because that gives you... 14 opens up like some interesting lines. You don't really need much more ink than that. There was one game today where we had to be prepared and then Ursula in the same turn, so 14 is sort of necessary to do that. But a lot of your like bounce and replay a thing, or you know, do the goat a couple times, those are much cheaper, 11 or 13 or whatever. No, not really. The problem with the crab, it was also tech for Surfer, in theory. The problem with the crab is that in order to fight an opposing Surfer, you had to have your own Surfer in play, and then play the crab instead of playing like a rabbit, and then take a turn off of questing with your Surfer to bash it, and then it still made it weak to Teeth and Ambitions. So it's like, what are we even doing, you know? Alright, so round is up. Let me refresh here. Alright, we battle. Custom, boom, boom. Alright, we rumble. They're on aggro, hopefully we win the die roll to play. We did not. Send back, be prepared, and a couple of goats. Maybe 3 goats. I could send back 2 goats for sure. Thanks for the follow, John. I think we'll just do this. Not a great draw. The double Tremaine is a little awkward here. Yeah, and I think that the Llama into Crab is good. It just isn't as good against Surfer specifically, and that's what I needed that slot to do. Yeah, he boomed me. So Mim into Olaf. So far this is just a normal start for this deck, so nothing particularly unusual there. We'll play a Minnie Mouse of our own. We'll know if they're the aggressive version in a turn or two. They could be us, or they could be a lower to the ground flavor. Another Olaf. Looks like they're probably playing a little bit of a lower to the ground version. Which means our hand is a little rough. I think we'll quest with this and pass. The way that it's looking, we're probably going to have to just like friends on the other side next turn for no value. This may be a line where I have to use a goat just to battle. Ooh, that's bad for us. Unexpected. We've been crabbed. Ooh, I lied. We have a new line. I'm going to get rid of the friends on the other side here first, because it's entirely possible that we're going to need to play this goat just to battle with what they're doing, and then we're just going to sing one of the friends on the other sides. Like, it gives us the ability to pressure the Olafs just as a 4-3. And I think if we can get to the spot where we're playing Tremaines, we're not in a terrible position here. But if we're not able to do that, it could be a little tough. Like, the way that our hand is shaped right now, we kind of need to be the control, not the aggressor. Which means that we're going to need to use this Maui. They don't look like the aggro version necessarily. If they're playing Crab, it could just be their draw. So we could Mim and what? Put this off the board just to kill the Olaf? I think that's really where I want to be. Maybe next turn, potentially. I think I just play the goat to be able to contest one of their things, and then I say go. And the turn after, we're going to be able to Maui. Even if I have to ink this Fox. Oh, I know he's trying to race. I can see what he's doing. He played a lot of 1-drops to not try to race. It's really all that they can do in this spot, right? If your hand is just 1-drops always. So they replay that. They might replay the mini as well. I wouldn't mind if they quested with the Olaf here, honestly. I don't think we need another goat right now. Do we think that they have another crab in hand? That seems unlikely, right? But not impossible. I think we do it this way. I know it doesn't matter if I'm attacking into it. I think we'll hit this way. And if they decide to play another crab and challenge into Olaf, into the Maui, that's fine. If they decide to trade into the goat, I think that's fine, because we just need to use these Tremaines to try and clean up the board a little bit. Because we don't have any real draw, because we haven't had any rabbits, we just had the friends on the other side, it's a little tricky. Debating on what they're inking, or if they're trying to play another thing, I assume. This game is Lorcana. It's Disney's Lorcana. And we are playing it on Pixelborn. Oh, you're asking what game we're on. We're on game 1. Instructions unclear. Okay, so they quest with everything. I think our play is just to clean up the board. And then maybe we ink the Maui. Like, we go Maui into Olaf. Actually, we can replay the mini. No, I can't. I think I'm doing this. I think I'm bouncing the Maui. So we can ink it, because we kind of need the ink. And then I'm just going to trade off, and then have our Surfer only. And if they Tremaine us, they Tremaine us. It's not ideal. Yeah, I considered not attacking with the Fox there to not get blown up by Tremaine here. But I kind of walked right into it. Now we're a little hard up. Not having any draw has been really awkward this game. Do we B-prep this? Kind of think I do. Especially because they didn't ink last turn. That's unfortunate. We're gonna play a Fox and bounce it back. Okay, that's fine. I think I just play Tremaine. I kind of think I have to play into another Tremaine, unfortunately. Doesn't look like they have it, so that's good for us. I sure do draw them a lot. That is true. I see, so they are on the aggro version. Getting rid of that Maui may be costly to them here. Because I think what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of the Stylish Surfer. We're going to Elsa. Boom, boom. And I think we're going to hit this Arthur. Just to remove it from the table, and then say go. Ideally, they don't have another Fox. They're 2 Foxes down. Like a fox on the Merlin would be really unfortunate for us. Okay, so we can go to 13. I think I'm just going to draw 2 cards first. Okay, well, given that, I think the play is to quest with these 2. Do we just play Kuzco Surfer? I think I play a Kuzco and 1 Surfer. Because if we get B-prepped, I want to be able to have something to play down. We get to draw a card off of this, and then we can play the Stylish. This doesn't overcommit. I considered inking the Kuzco and then playing double mini, but I think that plays into B-prep a little too much. A little too much. I don't mind playing into B-prep a little bit, but... Okay, we go to 15. They can goat, bounce, kill Tremaine. Then we have 6. We need a goat. Okay, so they do have the B-prep. So they get to draw a card, we get to draw a card. They're debating if they want to ink something to try and play a 2. They opt not to. I think we play these 2. Does inking this change anything? No, I don't think so. Like, we're not in a super favorable position here. 15 is a little rough. Because they can go, like, double goat, puts us to 17, and then any bounce kills us, and there's nothing we can do about it. Does not look like they have that as a line. They have a Yzma. That is fine. Let me demonstrate why Yzma doesn't do anything most of the time. Oh no, they've got a mini. That's problematic. That is a little worse for us then. So we'd be dead to a goat, which we've seen none of. They have 1, 2, 3. So they could very easily have a hand that's just like goat, bounce, and then we're dead to this Yzma. That's awkward. Only goat and snake, right? Because they don't have enough ink otherwise. That's true. So let's do this. Yeah, because he doesn't have enough ink. So let's do it this way. And then pass. If they have another B prep, which they don't, so there's goats. So do they have another inkable in their hand? Okay. We've been boomed. Alright. Our hand was real bad. And he had it, so if he has it, he has it. And he hadn't played any goats. 1 goat was not surprising there. Specifically having the snake with it. Like, he has 3 snakes and 4 goats. It's possible. Not much could be done in that spot, I think. Like, I don't know if there was a spot earlier where we could have gained a little bit more lore, but we were still pretty far away. We could have B-prepped the Yzma, but I don't think that really allows us to win the game. Like, if we B-prep there, it just buys us a turn, and it doesn't really improve our chances of victory. I think we just needed him not to have it for one turn. We should keep the fidget. I think this is fine. I don't know if he's on the hard, like the full aggro line or not, but we should definitely keep the fidget just in case. Let's do the Olaf into Mini and say go. I'm going to run out the Stylish Surfer first over the fidget. Samawi. And plays an Olaf. Makes sense. We'll quest here. We'll bend this. Bounce the other snake. Or bounce the Mini with the snake. My assumption is that they're going to do the same line, or maybe a LaFaux. Sure. We could blast this, but I don't think we have to do that now. I think we can afford to just play this and attack with this and say go. So I don't really want to put 2 damage on the Mini for no reason. And the LaFaux on its own is not necessarily particularly scary. They can crab and then trade into the Mim, but that's fine, even if it's with Olaf. Not particularly concerned about that. If we don't have to use this fidget as anything but ink, I would be fine with that. Like if we just ink this. But I wouldn't mind playing it to get into this if we draw another something. Okay, they play a Surfer of their own. I think so. I would assume so. I don't know for sure. I do not personally know who they are, so... Are we supposed to be racing them? I don't think so. I think I'm supposed to draw 2 cards here. I think I'm supposed to draw 2 cards. And I think I'm going to get rid of the Cusco. And then I'm going to fidget. And then... I think we will bash. Is fine and say go. Our hand is really bad again. Where's all my rabbits? We need our rabbits. Or we at least need something that draws us cards. As it currently stands, it's a little awkward. We have stymied the aggro, the early aggression, but the double B prep in our hand is pretty trash right now. Because we're a little favored on the board. And it doesn't particularly help us if we have no way of getting additional cards. I may end up having to ink this Teeth. Gets rid of the crab. They have 2 crabs? Could have 2 crabs. They opt to play rabbit. I think the development is favorable here generally. I wouldn't hate if they start questing so that we can clean it up pretty decently. Okay. So I guess we're doing Fidget, Mini, Snake. Bounce Snake back to my hand. and replay it, and then we just ink the teeth. I just don't think we're going to have an opportunity to use it with the way that this game has gone. I think I pass. We get to untap the snake, which is kind of free. We have effectively stopped the aggression, but without any card draw, we're going to be in a rough spot in a few turns. Okay, so we finally opted to crab. They're going to crab the mini, which is fine. That was to be expected. And now they're going to flunge with everything. Okay. Also something that was to be expected there. That's not bad. Unfortunately, the crab allows him to trade way up here as build. Like, we can do this. That's pretty free. We could kill the LeFaux or the rabbit. Probably the rabbit here, and then just replay the fox. Or, like, snake the snake. Maybe just ink the Maui. Okay, I think we want to do this for sure. I think we do this and we just ink the Maui. And say go. We're in a spot where we need a draw spell very desperately. I don't know. Our deck is literally full of draw. I would accept an Ursula, Rabbit, Maleficent. So they opt to play one Kuzco, or sorry, one Arthur. I think that's okay. If we do this, and then just play the Ursula straight up. Okay. Request with Fidget for sure. I'm debating if I'm supposed to hold back on the Mim in case they play a Tremaine. We could just bash the crab. I think I'll just hold back. I just don't want them to be able to, like, freely kill my stuff. So our ideal scenario here is that they Arthur this LeFaux, bounce it back, and then they play, like, another thing. And then we draw, like, an additional Ursula. Because that play is not unpredictable here. Like, I assume that they would have done that. But I need them to play something else as well. Nice, that's good for us. Okay, so we have two options here then. We can go for the tempo line, which is we try to play a couple of things. This is game 2. They just had me for Xaxes with a goat snake. I don't think I take the 3 lore here. Going to 13 is irrelevant when our hand is just Be Prepareds. I mean, playing the Maleficent and then drawing a card is pretty okay for follow-up. Like, I need to get some card draw going is the problem. So I'm pretty confident that this is right. We play this, because if this rips into a rabbit, we're just, like, in a good spot. If it rips into goat, that's fine too. Just play the goat down, no biggie. Because if they play, like, one thing, we can still Tremaine it. And then they play a Surfer. Okay. I mean... do this because I like drawing card. Allowing them to go to 13. Now we are in a spot where racing is favorable for us. So they're going to have to probably be prep. But conveniently we actually have rabbits this time. Or now, finally. Okay, so they be prep. That's okay. We go to 14. I would like to draw another thing to play. Like another... give me another Inkable. Nice, we take those. Because now we have this Tremaine to follow up a single thing if they don't have a B-Prep here. Which they could, I suppose. And they use another Olaf and draw. That is going to be good for us most of the time, I would think. Unless they ink and then play a 1, which they could. They ink a goat. Their hand must be a little sketch then. Okay, so we blast that, we quest. Take them to 17 here. And now a B-Prep doesn't necessarily save them because we just get to immediately Ursula. They could still have a Tremaine, but we are drawing an additional card here as well. So we'll see what our turn looks like. I may do a Maleficent plus a thing instead. They play out a LaFoe. I mean, it might be right just to play the Ursula. Oh, it's definitely right to play the Ursula. Get him Cusco. Oh, we are currently 0-1 in this round. So they draw 2. They're looking for an answer to Ursula. Yzma could be an answer. Looks like it's game 3. Okay. Alright, so we go to our game 3. They are on like an Arthur combo version of the deck that is still a little bit bigger. They're not on the full aggro. This hand is pretty okay. The Mims snakes, or sorry, the foxes don't always have the opportunity to be great in this matchup. But if I'm not keeping this hand against the aggro deck, I don't really know what I'm keeping, so... 5 and 3, nice. Any off-meta deck can really easily surprise people. I think we're getting rid of the Cusco because we're going to be going Olaf into the Snake. They don't have a lot of X1s in this deck, so the Olaf is mostly just to be used for ink and 1 free lore. I'm hoping that I draw like another 1-drop or a 9-drop or something. Yeah, that's awkward. I guess we'll just get rid of one of the foxes. It's fine. No fidget is unfortunate. In case they play Surfer here. Oh damn, that's so much Steel Song. We haven't seen him all day. I could see a mini for sure. Might not necessarily be mini and crab. Okay, here's a mini. And they opt not to quest, which I think makes sense. We play this. Play mini. Yeah, if he inked one for sure. Yeah, that's Amethyst Steel. I think we can quest here pretty comfortably. Like, I'm going to need to play towards these Tremaines, I think. Like, I may not even use this to quest. I think I might just play the rabbit and do it that way. Another Surfer of our own. I just don't think I'm the aggressor in this matchup. At least with the way that the draw looks, I don't think I'm the aggressor. Because I can get to the Ursulas, like the Tremaine and the Ursulas, and do that instead. Which makes me want to get rid of the Surfer number 2. And just play the rabbit out and pass. I guess if his intention is to crab the mini... If he crabs and snakes, it's really rough. I think I'm just going to do this. Leave them with no real fox lines, because generally bouncing the rabbit with fox is pretty favorable. We are going to have to deal with this Surfer at some point here. I want them to kill the mini. I didn't quest with it. I sung Friends on the Other Side with it. I don't care if he crabs it. Like, that's not how we're winning. We're not going to be able to win this game on the... by racing, because they have Arthurs and such. What I need to do is... I need to get into this stuff and win there. We need to draw cards and find B-Prep. It wouldn't surprise me if they pass. Attacking here seems not great. They could sing and then untap it with a foe. That's maybe fine. Yeah. Just pass. So... we quest with this for sure. I'm debating on what I'm doing with this rabbit. I think we're inking this for sure. We could put the rabbit back in our hand to draw a card. Play Fox, Snake, and then we can get in an extra 1 lore. 2 lore, rather. I think that's maybe fine. Do this and this. So go. So they can gain quite a bit of lore this turn. It's 5, 6, 7. They have a goat, they can get 9. I doubt that that's what the plan is. They're probably intending on Arthuring this rabbit and replaying it. They don't. Interesting. Okay. They Tremaine us. Sure. Sure. I guess. Like, that is an option. We're inking this Surfer for sure. Okay, I guess we're bashing the stuff, and then they're going to be at 14, which is not great, but we can just start slamming Ursulas after we B-Prep. Do this, do Maui. Maui hits Arthur. Then we quest with our own mini. This is the last round, so it's only 8. Oh, goodness. Thank God. That's sweet. Thanks, Geoff91. Appreciate the heads up. Well, then it looks like we probably made the top cut, given that we're undefeated. Which I suppose makes sense when you're 7-0. Another Tremaine is fine. Another Tremaine is fine. We should have sacked the Maui. That was a mistake. Not a huge one, but like an unnecessary one. It cost us 1 lore, so we'll see if that comes back to bite us. Definitely think we have to do this, and we just hope that they don't like goat. There's a rabbit. Rabbit's fine. Rabbit plus Maleficent. Okay. So they draw 2 cards. We have to play Ursula straight up. We can ink this. Just say go. So they go to 17 here. Yep. Not ideal. I think they've got us with the Tremaine here. Like, we just don't have enough things to interact with what they're doing. Well, I cannot just die this turn, but we're still ripped to a goat, I think. Okay, pass. We're dead to a goat. There wasn't really anything that we could do. Our top decks are pretty ugly. Those are pretty good. It's very likely that they have a goat in this spot, though. Yep. Alright, GG. They got me. I got fucking boomed. Not necessarily. Like, our draws were pretty bad. Like, really pretty bad. I think if we are... we literally didn't have any rabbits in the first 2 games. Like, none. So it's like, what are you gonna do? We were on the draw twice. Like, what are you gonna do? Yeah. I was on the draw game 1. I was. Oh, we got boomed. What are you gonna do? Sometimes the aggro deck aggroes you. Did he already report? I guess he did, yeah. I don't know how to check here. Yeah, he reported. Okay. We got aggroed. Wait, they just put it back on? Okay. I guess we're battling again. I have no idea what's happening. They said that it was our final Swiss round because technically it should have been because there is only 1 undefeated now. And then they're like, just kidding. So we just have to play 1 more round. It's fine. We are currently 7-1. But it does mean that we can get blasted out of the top 8 for sure. Maybe? I don't know. Whatever. We just battle. That's all we can do because there's no drawing, so... Or what, in second currently? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 21s. And a couple of other ones. Yeah, my breakers are pretty good. They're 65. They're not even the best that I've seen in here. 11th has 70%. Yeah, you could get in to top 16. I don't know. 9 rounds is a lot of rounds for this. So we'll have to see. Yeah, my breakers are alright though. Again, all we can do is battle. Who knows what's gonna happen. Right now it looks like it's RP, 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 discard, and then I think that's kind of all that I know. But if we make top 8, we make top 8. If we don't, we don't. 7th is RP as well. Makes sense. Oh, we lost. Bit unfortunate. Like, we were very close in game 1 there. It had to be specifically... it had to be, like, goat, snake, goat. Exactly, and they had it. And then they got us in game 3. Game 3 was a little rough. Our draws were pretty bad. But being on the draw in that matchup is very miserable. Like, they're generally pretty favored if they're on the play, just because they get to barf out their guys a lot faster. A 7-2 can top 8. I just don't know if we have the best breakers. Because there's no draws, it makes it weird. But I'm going to win anyway, so it doesn't really matter. My breakers are generally better than most of the other 21-pointers, but there are some 18-pointers that could leapfrog me if they win their last round. That's all good. As long as you do things like add Elsa, acknowledge that sometimes you have to hold teeth in the matchup so that you can interact with the fairy. You know, you have your set of Ursulas. Like, they play a very different game than what you might be used to playing in the mirrors, because they just have a lot of tempo. They're going to draw a lot more cards. If they're not hitting Sad Beast on 5, usually it's pretty okay for you. Like, you just try to draw enough cards to keep pace with them, and then try to win in the late game battle with the Ursulas. And sometimes that's good enough. There may have been a spot in that last game. I'd have to go back and re-watch it. But there may have been a spot in there that I... like, just could have been more aggressive. And that would have made a difference. But then they would have had more lore, so I don't know if it really matters a ton. They boomed me. So now we're waiting... for something. I don't know what. Obviously, we're no longer waiting for top 8, but we'll just have to battle the last round here. I keep hearing tomorrow is the top 8, so we'll have to see if that's the case, if we even make it in. Looks like we've got another 5.5 minutes or so. They were playing a list. So this is what I would imagine, like, the really hard aggro, where you're playing like Arthur and the Pinocchios and stuff. They're essentially on like a slightly older control list. It's playing like the Arthur and the LaFoe package, like this thing. LaFoe and Arthur. Quest with Arthur, untap it with LaFoe. I was not a huge fan of that deck. It is a little bit outdated, but since people are not necessarily as prepared for Arthur, it can definitely sneak in there for sure. They must have dodged discard then. Would be my assumption. Because they're not the full aggro. I don't even know how to see pairings enough to be able to trace that down. Like, I don't think I can look at the other people while the event is still going. Whatever. I played no Amber Steel. We just played 4 RPs, losing 1, which is still an okay record given that it's usually pretty coin flippy in those. Played a discard, which was sort of a gift to win anyway. A couple of Steel, Amethyst, and 1 Popsicles. So now we're waiting for our last round here. Coming up on 9 hours. I don't know if we're going to be done before... We'll probably be done before 10 hours today. But tomorrow, maybe not so much. What round is this? That was 8? Okay, well, 1 round left. We shall wait the theoretical 15 more minutes for this to finish up, and then we'll see what happens in the last round. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why it is so many rounds. Do we know what the normal breakdown is for, like, the number of rounds for tournaments like this? For Swiss into cut? I talked about it earlier a little bit, but there's not really anywhere for it to go. It would have been good, in theory, in this matchup to interact with Arthur and things like that, but overall, it just doesn't have enough matchups where it's better than just playing stronger later game cards to deal with the rest of the other decks. Because the Pinocchio really only was good against Arthur, and other similar aggro decks, Arthur and Lilo and that kind of stuff. You know, the 3-lore Pinocchio. If those decks become, like, incredibly popular again, and it's not just a random one-of occasionally, then yeah, I could definitely see it. But against a lot of these decks, it just doesn't really do anything, and it's uninkable, which is rough. Past 256, it's 9. I see. So it was in theory 9 because they started with that many, but I don't know if there's that many people that played round 1 even if they signed up. Like, they registered yesterday and it just didn't show, I would imagine. We can look. No, I guess there's just a lot of O2 drops. There's a couple of O1s, which I would assume most of the O1s didn't show up. So then they probably just, like, took an L for those and then left. But it doesn't seem like it's too many. For 262. So it was, like, really close. Yeah, they just didn't register their deck properly. Yeah, there's not a ton of Amber. There's not a ton of aggro right now because there's a ton of Steel. Yeah, so, like, technically it could be... It would have been good for 9. But I assume enough people dropped that the matchups were weird with some draws, too. Whatever. Yeah, once you get to 10 rounds, just, like... It seems really bad. This is already long enough. X2. Yeah, you should be able to get top 16 with that if you went out. I'm pretty sure that they're giving promos away to top 32 now. So in theory, you may be able to get a promo even if not. I assume X2 should should do pretty well. Oh, yeah, me too. I think they just sent those out like a couple days ago. I'll have to keep an eye out for those. You could get a playmat or something. Playmat and some boosties, I don't know. Alright, so that's time and round. So there's another 10 minutes or whatever. Yeah, I just saw in the Discord there was... Okay, and announcements maybe? No. LPN general, LPN announcements. Oh yeah, so in the LPN announcements, it was on the 4th, so 2 days ago. The prize and get out the door, you had a bunch of boxes and bubble mailers and whatever. So that's cool. So those will be there soon enough. We got one more round. I assume we'll start in about 10 minutes. Or so. Hopefully. I don't know why we're going to time every single round. But like time plus 10. I'm getting tired. It's been a long day. Yeah, I wish there was a better way to manage the, like, going to turns. I just don't really know if there is. It's kind of the nature of it. Especially with a digital event like this, I don't really know if there's a... Outside of just, like, baking in or integrating the actual timer into the client in such a way that it's just like, here's your 50-minute rounds, do your best of 5 or your best of 3. I don't know if you can really do much better than what they're doing right now, so we wait, we be patient. I wonder who is complaining about 8 rounds versus 9, or the opposite of that, I guess. I suppose somebody who's near the bubble, I guess, because it just cuts off that as an option. I don't really see anywhere that there was... whatever. Yeah, it is a little weird to change it right before the last one. That's certainly true. Hey, Phaedreva. Appreciate the follow. Yeah, it would be a little weird, I guess. Yeah, I don't necessarily agree with the no IDs either, but I can understand why they want to do it. They just want to have people battle. It's fine. Hey, thanks for the follow. Sorry, thanks for the Prime sub. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, IDs are not great for coverage, and they definitely don't look awesome overall. Yeah, I'm glad to hear it. And that you are enjoying it as well. It's going to be a bit of work to get these up onto YouTube later, but I'll see if I can stay up after this and get them taken care of. At least a couple of them. Yeah, we're not identifying into the top 8. Only battling. We must all fight in the parking lot. Just battle it out. More hero requests. I'm the hero. I've been requested. Hey Skippy, how are you? Yeah, you just got a battle behind the Wendy's. Oh my goodness. It's okay, it's kind of fun. Getting in and playing it a little bit. Every now and then I'll pop in and do a mage game or two or whatever. Just don't have a ton of time. It's been busy. It's hard to want to do 2 games. Like, really hard commit to 2 different games. I haven't even really been playing Pixelborn enough to get to the ladder. Like, the top of the ladder this month. It's been over the holidays. Haven't wanted to do a lot of just hard grinding for the best of ones. I could probably still make it if we stream a bit, but not sure if I will. Nah, I just was doing other stuff around the holidays. My job schedule really doesn't change a ton, depending upon the season. It can change around other stuff, but the season is not generally one that does it. Yeah, there's a bunch of people on the leaderboard that are just kind of sitting. Haven't really moved much recently, except for LD, who's been just battling. Oh my god. They're getting 7 more minutes. Okay. Well, we might get started with the last round by 9 hours. It's going about the same pace as the last one, unfortunately. Yeah, there's always one person that just really likes grinding it, and that's fine. I just, like, sometimes I'm really feeling battle in the deck. I have no idea. Carlum, probably. They're gonna take a vote, I guess, when we get done with the people that are in top 8. So I don't really know if it's gonna be tomorrow or not. I would assume so, given how late it is in the day already. But it is entirely possible that it's entirely possible that it'll be today as well. I'm like losing my brain here. It's been a long day. May as well leave the deck up, I suppose, while they're wrapping up. Should have packed a lunch for this. We had 1 round go to time, and it was done 1 turn after today. That was one of the mirrors, I think. No, it had to be one of the PS games. Yeah, it was one of the PS games, round 4 maybe. Yeah. I mean, some people just play to play, right? They don't have the opportunity to play best of 3 or tournament stuff often. They just want to battle. I can appreciate that. Not everything is for prizes necessarily. You know, sometimes that's just your day off that you get to do stuff. There's nothing wrong with that. Alright, pairings are up. I think. refresh here. I'm currently in second. Grab this here. Okay. Play, custom, this. Yeah, round 10. I mean, do you mean round 10, 11, and 12 if we go to the finals? Hopefully tomorrow. I'm ready for a nap. And it's 6 p.m. for me. I don't know. I didn't see. Pairings. Aaron W. Dunno. I don't know what they're on. Or they're standing currently. They are in 10th at 6-1-1, so I'm paired down. Which is interesting, I guess. Yeah, the top 8 votes when they want to do it. This is the first match of the final round. Alright, we wait for them to join. We go second, unfortunately. I will probably keep this Fidget. Not the Elsa. Not the Mim Snake. We'll keep the Fox, though. Okay. And if the Fidget is not useful in the matchup, then we can ink it, and that's fine. And we'll probably ink one of these Cuscos as well. We'll see how getting to these rabbits is. Unfortunately, on the draw again. In the 9th game. The 9th round, rather. Looks like the mirror, probably. Most likely. They could be on aggro as well. Ink Maleficent, pass. We'll see if this Fidget is good in this matchup or not. They inked the Teeth and Ambitions, notably. Alright, we get rid of this Olaf. I think we don't need this yet. Play this Cusco and pass. We likely are going to ink this other Cusco. We'll have to see what the next turn brings. Maybe they'll ink another Teeth and we just get to Fidget them. Be Neato Burrito. They ink a Fox Mim, so their hand must be a lot of bounce and a little bit of draw. So they opt to essentially do nothing that turn. I think I can get rid of Goat this early. Did I just run out this Fidget? It's a little awkward. Yeah, it's not that bad. Any evasive is usually pretty okay in these matchups. And then we're just going to be able to start slamming rabbits. Likely going to draw 2 cards here. Plays into Teeth, but they already inked one. And, like, it wouldn't surprise me if they also mulliganed Teeth away. Like, it's really not that good in this matchup. If they Teeth me, they Teeth me. Like, I'd rather develop something and then force them to interact with it than not. I'm debating on whether or not I bash this Maleficent. I don't think I do. If we get rid of this Cusco, play out the rabbit, and just smash with both of these. Like, if they decide to kill the Kuzco and I draw a card, that is okay. So our hand could use a little bit of work. Doesn't need a ton of help, but a little bit would be nice. So we have a lot of draw, but we need to do something else with it other than just drawing cards. Is that the second one or the third one? Second one. Opponent's drawn a lot of cards. They're up like 5 cards on us. Which may or may not matter. There can't be a split. They've indicated that they don't want there to be a split, so then there won't be. This is perfectly acceptable. Nice. We found a Maui. Opponent's got like 1,000 cards in their hand. What's the play here? Are they just not gonna... Kuzco? Are they on my list? Get off my shit. Damn! Could be on my list. And friends on the other side again? How many of those you got? We could hit here, fox it back, and then hit this. Can we play another thing this turn then? I don't think so, but I'd like to get some stuff off the board. Could even fidget here if we want, but I think it's maybe fine just to do this. Trying a Kuzco would be kind of ideal. I think we'll get rid of this. Maybe I don't care about the Mim. I kind of do. I have an idea. Oh, that doesn't work. Because the Mim would be dead. Yeah, fuck it. What are they going to do, Tremaine me? I'll pull stuff off the board. I'll let them Tremaine me if they want. We're Tremained. We found a teeth. We don't need the teeth. In this spot, I don't think. Oh, I don't need the teeth. We're playing rabbit. Into snake. Drawn 2 cards. Insane go. You know. We're going to need to find a B-prep with the way that I played this game. Sort of why I'm going out of my way to draw 2 cards a turn, so we can find one. Our worst case scenario is what? They... Quest for 4. Shift a Tremaine and, like, snake it back, the double Tremaine to their hand. It'd be kind of obnoxious. Could do it with a Fox, too, since they have 7. Get rid of a mini Surfer. Interesting. It's pretty late for Surfer, I suppose. Spellbook. Spellbook and Kuzco. Well, now I don't love the spot that we're in, now that we're racing. Though, if they do attack with the Tremaine, it's not miserable. Our draw is miserable, but we have some options. So we bop this. We fox it, bop this. Fox it, bop this. Where does that really get us, though? It cleans up the board minus a rabbit, and it leaves us with nothing. I also don't think we need a Surfer here. I think I'm okay cleaning up the board. So this, we mim, bounce this, let him draw a card. I'm gonna have to ink something here. What do we not need in this spot? One goat. Could be a snake too. We already inked something, right? Yeah, we already inked. Never mind. Just kidding. Oh, I inked a surfer. So they go to 8, potentially 9 if they decide to spellbook here. Play a goat, which is annoying. They doing anything else? Playing a snake, bouncing the goat. Sure. That is fine. I mean, I don't love it, but it is what it is. So, another surfer. Our hand is fucking abysmal. We can rabbit fox. That's 7. If we Tremaine... Nah, I don't care about time. We have plenty of time. It's 40 minutes left. We'll be alright. I think it's this. We draw. We do this. We draw. We bash. Get rid of one of these snakes because we have just oh so many of them. Maybe we bounce the Mim back to our hand instead. Go to the Olaf. No, we already quested. Or we already inked. I'm inking first for some reason. It's throwing me off. I'm off my game. We have so many cards in hand and none of them have any text on them. It's really unfortunate. So they're going to rabbit into goat, spellbook, and 1. So that does 13. Our draws have been unfortunate. I think I have to get this goat off the table. There's not really a way for me to do it super favorably. I think we have to Elsa. We have to tap these two. Bash this quest. I think it's possible to win this game, but not having any of our Ursulas so far makes it a little challenging. Also 6 cards down on our opponent. We've drawn a lot. We just haven't been able to really play a lot of cards this game. Yeah. That's why I needed to get the goat off the table, but it wasn't really a super favorable way for us to do that. Unfortunate. Alright, fine. You got me. I'll take the play. Unfortunate. Last 2 rounds have been not particularly stellar. You know what I did that game that there's a few things that I don't think I liked. I'd have to go back and rewatch it again to really pinpoint them, but we don't feel like I loved our spot most of the time. We were just getting Tremained to death. So we go first. We like the mini. I don't think I need this or this. Or one of these, for sure. Okay, we got a rabbit. That's not too bad. It's a little slow. We'll get this on 3, which is nice. We have another one. I mean... Okay. I didn't see if they were playing crabs or anything. It's possible that they were. If they just play snake here, it's kind of whatever. Sure. Yeah, I didn't see any crabs, but maybe I just don't remember them. We have a rabbit, so we don't need this. Let's play this and say go. Yeah, we'll just NASCAR him. That's all I can do, right? The face do be the place. They're keeping up pretty well with our aggression so far. We do this. I'm debating if I'd rather have the Maui or the... I'm playing the second mini. I'm just debating on whether or not I want the Maui or the Fox. I think I'd rather have the Maui here. Or we might be inking the Maui too when we play the rabbit, but... They are going to have to try and draw out of this. Looking for, like, Tremaines and B-Preps. We should be able to get quite a bit of lore before then. I'm probably playing this. They did have crabs. They just don't have the minis. So they're playing a goat to try and keep up with the race, which I think is reasonable. This. Do I need the rabbit now, or is it better to just Maui so that we're not losing the race? I mean... Yeah, that could be a reasonable line. I think I'm bashing this Maleficent as well. And saying go. Yeah, I think hitting the Mal makes the most sense here. So it's the only thing that can sing other than the goat, and if they want to trade either one of these into the Maui, that's fine. I think it just kills their momentum on the race. And then I can... Ideally, we'll play something that can protect from Tremaine. They could goat attack and then try to bounce the goat. Fox or something. That would make sense to me. We're just another goat. Fair. I'm surprised that they got rid of a fox there. Wouldn't have expected that. Maybe we leave this in play. Nah, I think I have to scoop it up. I think I can get rid of the fox, though. Because I want to keep the mini. So we can double spell more comfortably. And keep, like, stuff on the board, basically. I am a little concerned about turn 7. Because we're going to be at roughly 15, 16. And we won't have any goats. And they'll be pretty close to the same, a little bit less than we will have, but they'll be pretty close, assuming that they B-prep. And Elsa is not an awesome empty board follow-up. It's kind of one of the reasons that I wanted to like be doing this a little bit. maybe this is just worse than the Fox, but there's some lines where like we get B-prepped and then we Ursula this to protect against Tremaine, which we know that they have. Yeah, so we're just on the whole NASCAR plan, huh? Okay, fair enough. That is a good draw. So we bash. Who's bashing again? Go to 15. Like, they're almost certainly B-prepping. Yeah, they do. I'm just debating on what I'm doing in this spot. I think it's drawing cards, but it might be leaving the rabbit in play. Actually, no, maybe it is just quest here, rabbit first, and just see what we draw. So drew Maleficent. We don't want to play Maleficent. That's a good follow-up. I think it might be this, weirdly. And then we ink the mini and say go. Like, we want to be able to play, you know, this garbage. Like, it could even be Maleficent, Mim, Maleficent. It's probably, like, the goat line, but... like, we have to force out the B-prep. And, I mean, they have to B-prep in this spot. And we get to draw an extra card here, too. I'm a bit sad that we got rid of the mini, because now if we draw Ursula, it's a little awkward. We're, like, not necessarily that far ahead here. I think I lead on this. How did I beat discard? I don't know. Lucky draws. Mostly. So if they B-prep us again, what's the play? This is 10 to do this. I want to force another B-prep too. I'm just debating on how. I mean, what's the ink then? I guess it's this. So we get to draw an extra card here, and then if they don't have it, they're just dead. My only consideration was playing the 1, because then if we gain 3, we still get them immediately with the goat. Okay. And the problem with anything in pass is that it just sort of loses to Tremaine, which is awkward. Um, 6-9. That is really awkward. I mean, we have late game for days, but they're also within goat range, too. Like, we know that they have a second goat, I'm pretty sure. But, like, the Tremaine plus a thing is really rough for us here. Because we don't have the bodies to deal with Tremaine. It's 26 minutes and some change. I mean, if they don't have Tremaine here, we're in a pretty okay spot. Then the Elsas are good. Even the Ursula is pretty good. Is that good enough? Or is it better to still just Elsa? I don't think it's good enough. The Elsa's just better here, unfortunately. No, I don't. I go to 16. Oh, no, yeah, I do. 16, 17, 18. Maybe I'm just too dumb to do the math. I am pretty dumb. Yeah, we don't have another thing. I guess I just Tremaine here and then goat them next turn. How's it over? What am I missing? I don't have enough ink. Fucking tweet chat. What are you doing? I can just play Tremaine and pass, and then we get him next turn. I mean, sort of. If they manage to get enough to kill us, we can just pass here, and then we get him next turn. Even if they have Ursula, Ursula doesn't wipe the board. Like, they would go to 15. They can do the same thing that we're doing. This is just a lot safer. Like, we have no way of losing with this in hand. And then being at 14, maybe they just can't gain enough. So we'll go to game 3, I guess. But unfortunately, we're on the draw in game 3. I understand that, but if our opponent just wins the game with, like, a spellbook and double goats and this shit, then, like... God, Twitch chat is just some days... Slow play. There's 24 minutes left. I don't need to slow play. If I lose, I lose. You mean just play Elsa outright? Sure. Why are you not playing 1-drops? Yeah, I can kind of agree with that. I think it could have been playing the 1-drop instead of the flyer. But we just had so many uninkables that it was pretty brutal regardless. I don't care for the teeth here. But they can ink. I need a better hand. This hand sucks. We need to get rid of at least one more, maybe 2 more. Let's do this. Okay, we got an Ursula, that's okay. We got a 1-drop, also okay. We know that they're on crabs to answer this, so Minnie can pretty safely friends on the other side. So they Minnie on 1. I'm gonna Maui. Do we have an Olaf? It opens up the line to potentially Mim Fox. I think I will. But likely on 3, we're just going to be jamming Minnie Mouse anyway. By Teeth and Ambitions. Okay. Looks like we're getting rid of another Maui. If their play is to Fox into our Olaf, do we care? It's a little annoying. Puts us back in their hand. Yeah, I don't really need to let it be sacrificed. It's a bit unnecessary. Yeah, I'm still kind of on board with jamming this next turn. They surf for themselves. Okay. I'm not even sure that our opponent is playing Ursula's. This is a rough hand. I don't really know what to do here. It could unironically just be Maleficent and we just play towards Ursula's to deal with their minis. I think I like Mal too. I don't like that I like it, but... I think we win the late game in this matchup every time. Like, we're just not racing double mini on the play versus on the draw. I don't think mini is better here. How are you beating this with mini? Like, you need to draw into something that actually interacts with this. And currently we have none. Don't see how you survive this late game. Okay, I'm just gonna stop reading chat because it's fucking 3-head over here. I mean, give him the crab play. Okay. Like, they haven't inked. We literally just have to get there so that we can stop them. That is the only out. This. I literally just have crab and no teeth. Sorry, I have teeth and no crab. I've already gotten rid of one, though. I'm pretty sure that I have to bounce this to draw with the snake so that I can play fidget if we draw one. He didn't. We can play one now. I'm just gonna play another one. Maybe a rabbit or a goat here. That is really unfortunate. Guess we perish. I don't know what we're supposed to do on the play in this spot. So I can deal with this. That's just too much. If I specifically get teeth plus Tremaine, I'm still dead. Because it's... it just doesn't matter. Okay, we perish. GG, I guess. So I would very much like somebody to explain to me why a Surfer Mini would have helped us in that spot. I'm interested. I'm curious about the answer there. Because I don't see how one Surfer Mini makes a difference there. Like, we know that he plays crabs, but he wasn't playing crabs. We were on the draw. Oh my god, I'm just going to start banning people for, like... Crab is a shit fucking card. Full stop. It's bad. Like, it's not good. There is potentially a turn where we could get them to maybe crab our thing on turn 5. Or 4 at best. Because we have to quest then with it. Like... But the combo's not good. We have better cards to interact with it. We just didn't have them. So, like, you're just saying words then. We're playing Fidget. On the draw, Fidget is much better than Crab. If we have a Fidget there, I don't think we can lose. We could maybe give them one play. If they opt to attack into the mini. However, if they don't, like, the 2-Lord doesn't matter for us. And the 2-Lord didn't matter for our opponent either. They were on the play with Surfer Mini, and we didn't have a Fidget to answer it. We also didn't have a Teeth and Ambitions to answer it either. If I have a Teeth, the play is a little different. Because then I can, you know, attack into it and Teeth it. But I didn't have those things. I had 1/3s that aren't able to keep up with 3 1/3s, and I had the ability to try and draw into something else. Maybe. Maybe we make it, maybe we don't. Not really anything I can do about it. We had bad draws and we lost. I don't think so. Like, you still have to draw the Teeth. It doesn't... We're literally on the final round, round 9, at X and 1. X and 1. So we're assuming that our opponent is bad, or we're assuming that our opponent is going to play badly. Is that correct? Is that what I'm understanding? Just making sure I'm following along. Because that's possible. It's absolutely possible. But that then also requires them to, A, give a shit about the mini, and B, for us to actually turn the mini into anything. Like, we're not... You are not racing when you are on the draw. You are just not able to race when you're on the draw. If they play a Surfer and you play a Surfer, they get to quest first. Full stop. You are just not racing. With the list that we have, you're not racing there. That's just the answer. Like, it is okay if you disagree with that, but that is the answer. With our list, we don't have something that is able to reasonably allow the mini to compete there, and we're just not racing. Because we're on the draw, not the play. If we were on the play, different conversation. What in the actual fuck is a 1/3 going to do in that spot? It cannot kill their 1/3s because it has 3 willpower. Our outs was a Fidget. Our outs with them not having 3 of them. Oh my god. Holy fuck. Here, let me do this. Then you can look at the deck list. for clarification. Like, there are teeths to be found, because you shuffle after you mull. You put them on the bottom, and then you shuffle. I should have played teeth. I should have played crab. You're right. You are correct. I am the fool. Well, anyway. I don't know what the outcome will be. Whether we'll make top 8 or not. Who knows? We have played our hand the best that we can. A couple of rough games against decks that ended up being more aggressive than us. I still think the deck list is fine. If we don't make it, we don't make it. That's why generally they allow draws. I don't know where we're at right now, 7th or something. I don't know why it like puts me at the top. I guess it's fine. I know. I should have. What a fool. I think we probably made it. I don't know if all of the games have finished towards the top. This one, Ryan Lee and Jay Hoy. Looks like we probably made it, like 7th or something, 6th or 7th. Let's see where they're at here. 6-2-0. They could win and then get into... What was their opponent? Brian Liu. Their opponent win percentage is like incredibly high. I don't know where their actual opponent is though. Down farther here, 56. So we'll probably get either we will probably get either 7th or 8th then. That's cool. An unfortunate run out in the last 2 games, but overall the outcome was still pretty good. Yeah, I do think that... I don't know. We'll just have to wait to see what the outcome is, and then I'll figure it out with them what we're doing, if we're battling today or battling tomorrow, if I make it. As far as decks that are pretty easy to learn... Yeah, that was a good one. That game was pretty rough. Zero's just like my nemesis. Just booms me all the time on the ladder, no matter what I'm playing. Luckily, we got to hit one of the low rolls on the 3rd game, so that was fortuitous. Decks that I think are pretty easy to learn, that are kind of fun. I wouldn't necessarily recommend the purple decks. There's a lot more moving parts. Unless you're going with some of the aggro ones. Like, I think the aggro ones are reasonable. Let me bring up my decks here. The Popsicle deck is pretty sick, actually. Oh my god. Can't even link. The links are just always broken. So the decks that I've been playing... Like, something like this, you could probably do pretty well with. This is just, like, all evasive stuff. You just curve out with evasives, and then... It definitely is not very expensive either. What is it, $40? You could build something like this pretty cheap. You could even shave on the teeth if you really want and play more 1-drops or whatever. Oh, here, we'll move it over here a little bit. Because I got all the text on the screen like a noob. Yeah, something kind of like this. You're sort of just playing insert all the evasives. Yeah, the prices are coming down for sure. Yeah, something like this that's just full of a lot of evasive cards could be good, and it's cheap. Yeah, the lack of product was really brutal early on. Like a deck like this, you could even pick up like a couple of the precons, and then you're halfway through to something like this. Yeah, this game I don't think was ever, in paper, outside of some of the promos, I think it was really meant for like a quote-unquote investor game. I don't know why every single card game needs to be an investor game. Or something that is meant for, ooh, I need to flip this or whatever. The only reason that was part of this at all was just a product shortage. I don't think adding more fidgets is the problem. We lost one game against an RP deck to minis today. That's it. We lost one. We played RP 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times today. We lost to the aggro version once in a pretty close set of 3. And we lost one game to flooding, or to spamming out minis. But we also won a game doing the same thing, if you remember. Back in, call it round 3 maybe. We did the same thing, where we literally just played thing into mini, 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 and then killed them on turn 6. We mini, 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 and a goat. It was the exact same line. Like, I can't even be mad about it. It's the reason that we have some Kuzcos. But you can't always rely on having that there. What if we play that and they have a teeth? Then they get me there too. Like, sometimes you lose. This happens. You know? Yeah, they're basically printing to demand. I think Jetsam costs too much and doesn't really... Like, yes, the 3/3 body is better. But I think if I'm... So, the way that we've won a couple of our RP games was our opponent played... When we were on the draw specifically, Jetsam is inkable. Flotsam is the one that's uninkable. So the way that we won a few of our games was our opponent on the play would play mini on 3, and then we would play fidget on R3. So we were able to stop that immediately, rather than it waiting until like a full additional turn just to play the 3/3. I think the cheaper cost is what's relevant there. Like, a spot where we could potentially shave for another fidget. Maybe a Maleficent Sorcerer. I really don't think you can go less on these. And I don't think that you can go less than 3 Teeth and Ambitions either. I think it's basically just a Maleficent Sorcerer that you have room for cutting with the way that this list is set up. Either that or a Maleficent here. But I think 2 dragons is maybe better. I mean, I had crabs. I replaced them with the fidgets, and the fidgets were very good today. Like, quite good. We fought a lot of crab opponents, and we beat them today. They specifically have to have the Teeth and Ambitions, or they literally can't use their minis at all. There's a world where we potentially find room for Goofy as well, as a 3/5. There's something to be said for that too. Like, I don't know if I don't know if I made it Echo. I lost my last 2 rounds. My breakers are pretty good though, so we'll see. Since everybody had to play, like, X2 is probably good enough for 8th, I think. Like, we're looking at the standings, currently in 7th. And we are waiting on 1 table, I think, that can even leap us. So I don't think we can actually be bumped here. It looks like we made it. We get to battle tomorrow. Or today, or whatever the hell we're going to do with it. Who knows, they might draw and then we get 7th. I think one of them has a better breaker than us, and then the other one does not. This one has a 71% breaker. They fought some pretty rough matchups, I suppose, today. And then the other one had like a 50-something down here. So I doubt that they're going to be able to leap a 65, but the 71 could put us in 8th, but that's still good enough. No shame in getting 8th in a top 8 cut, right? So far, we have consistency with our Pixelborn constructed tournaments. Looking at like 8th place in both, which is pretty neato. It has been a long day. Coming up on 10 hours. I have to cut this end part down a little bit for the videos. We'll have to see where we want to cut that. But, yeah, we had fun today. Announcements. End of time. Okay. I guess we just have to wait a little bit before we know for sure. So it looks like the rat on the aggro version of this deck went 9-0. Who'd they play in the finals last round? Oh no, I'm not lost there too. That's brutal. Aggro deck's out there fucking our shit up. I wonder what Matthew's on that they 2-0'd discard. I would assume that most of the lists will be posted from the top, maybe even the top 32, I don't know. And quite a few of them will probably be put out, though. Okay, so it looks like Janmoy scooped us. We should be in 8th then. They ended up with a 70.55 opponent win percentage, which is a pretty insane number. How far out did we bump? 1, 2... Oh, wow, we almost actually didn't win. Michael Majors could still leapfrog us, actually, I think. On breakers, maybe? That'd be rough. Gonna have to wait until the full round is in. And 21 goes down so far. Jeez. Actually, just so far. We'll see. Yeah, rat fucked on us. Happens. Alright, while we wait for the final announcement here. I don't know how long time is for that. What was No I'm Not's breaker? 68. Oh, I guess they just fought the rat last round. Hey, Gentleman Jack, appreciate the follow. And I know that I'm in 8th right now. I don't... It may be randomized. Like, we don't know anything about how they're going to do the top 8. Realistically. Like, it might just be that they pair randomly, or they might pair based on seed, or they might not give a shit about the seed and they just do these 8 players play another thing tomorrow. Or we might play tonight. We literally know shit. We almost had 8 rounds, remember? Yeah, this is the only concern. Is either if our number goes down a 0.5%, which is possible, or if theirs goes up another 0.5%. Let's organize the nicest. Yeah, perhaps. I do appreciate everybody for hanging out today. It was a bit of a long day, for sure. I like playing in these tournaments on Saturday, but if they're going to be 10 hours every time, it's going to be pretty tricky to consistently play in them every week. But we'll try. If there are, if there are more, we'll rumble. Maybe we'll learn the discard deck and we'll fuck on kids with that instead. Top 8 is seeded. Okay. Well, if it's seeded, then that's unfortunate. We gotta battle the aggro deck again. If indeed we're in 8th. I assume that we are. I don't think we can ever be... We're either 8th or 9th with our 2 losses there, so... However it is, it is. Where did it say that it's seeded? I don't actually care. I lied. It just doesn't really matter. I assume it's in the rules or something somewhere. I don't know. No intentional ties, no IDs, a little wild. But so be it. I can definitely tell my play was not as tight towards the end there. Long day. Very long day. I don't think they were bad at all. I think they've been taking feedback for improvement too, which is really important. Like adding the pairing code that is something that's just automatic with it. Means that you don't really have to chat. If the chat's not working for whatever reason, like you just punch us in, boom, you should be good. I think the little things like that are pretty important, I think. There's still some stuff that could use a little bit of improvement, but it's good to just do it, get feedback, and then make improvements after that. Because it's already much better than the last one. Even though it was a long day, it was 9 rounds, and it took the same amount of time as the one that was 8 rounds before. So like you can already tell that there's improvement, and that there's taking feedback and applying that to it. I don't know yet. Our breaker is tight. We are either 8th or 9th if the last round is weird. Like if either myself or Michael Majors played... Oh, nice. Nito Burrito. Well, then we did it. We have made the top 8. There are 2 21 pointers that should make it. 3 actually. But our breakers were slightly worse than the other 2 just because we lost the last 2 rounds. Yeah, I definitely think that the cut was good for sure. The cut and like the change to the payout was very good. I think it overall makes the experience a bit better. It should just be best of 3s and top 8, yeah. If it's seeded, it's unfortunate because we're against a matchup that was a little rough. That we lost last time. It would have been certainly better to have been in the quarters against a matchup that was a little better for us, but sometimes you just don't have a great matchup. It'll happen. Like, I don't know if any of these matchups were particularly exciting. It is a bunch of RP, different flavors of it. RP, I don't know what every single person is on. Yeah, this is a free entry event. Yeah. RP is generally a very good choice for tournaments. So I've talked about this a bit today. Like, whether it's this version, whether you play Crabs, Arthurs, a deck like this, because of all the extra card draw from, like, the Maleficents and the Merlins, the ability to... Like, there's so little direct lore gain in this game, and there's even less direct lore removal. So something like Merlin Goat that gains a lore when it comes into play and when it leaves, being able to just be a little aggressive early, and then, you know, play a goat, bounce the goat, play it again. Like, all of a sudden, you just don't have to do combat with your opponent. You just get to burn them directly. So in purple specifically, we have some of the best card draw currently in the game, on top of burn, like the only direct face damage or lore gain that the game currently has. It is very powerful. When you only need to gain 20 lore, and the goat can just gain one when it comes into play, uninteractably, and then you can bounce it, and then when it goes back to your hand, you also gain another one. So 17, like if you're at 17 lore, all you need is a goat and a snake, and all of a sudden you just have enough to burn them out. And you can't remove it. Like, you can't board wipe it or whatever. They still get to gain it no matter what. So this just always gains 2 lore whenever they play it. Yeah, if this was uninkable, this deck would be a lot worse, certainly. Or one of these being uninkable. Yeah, I ink goats a lot in the early game. Especially when we are, you know, looking to just like draw cards or whatever to play a longer game. I will ink the goats a lot. Goats and Mauis and whatever. Just because we want to be doing the draw stuff early to get more ink. Basically, the reason that you're drawing cards is to put them into the inkwell. So that then when you get to the later game, you can actually play more of the stuff. I'm pretty happy with this list overall. It's possible that there needs to be another fidget in here somewhere if we're going to run into RP this much. And it's one of those questions of, like, do you build your deck for day 1 of the GP or day 2 of the GP? And if you're building it for day 2, it probably means an extra fidget. Just because it seems like the top tables were almost exclusively RP, kind of all the way down. So it's one of those things, you know, you can add another fidget and still not draw it. You can just not run into RP all day. Yeah, we can. It might be just this exact list. I don't know yet. We'll have to see how tomorrow goes. Maybe we just scoop here and play it again. But I'm more interested in the sealed, I think, than the constructed. Just because it's a bigger event, right? But the list is pretty tight. There's, like, not much room to play. I really... Yeah, like, Jetsam or Goofy. Like, there's something... You need, like, a 3-power evasive. Milwaukee, day 1 is sealed, and day 2 they have a 2K that's constructed. Interesting. I will be battling Michael Majors. What? Did I miss something with the standings? Hang on. Let's refresh the page. That can't be right. Oh, top 16, sure. I don't mind that pairing. I don't know what Majors is on, but it's okay, don't worry, everybody's going to tell you immediately that you did it wrong. Why wouldn't they? I acknowledge that you've done it wrong. Do it right. Do it better. Do it right now. I sure hope that it's not seeded. I hope it's random and we get the draw, and we get the play. That would be ideal, but I don't know if that's the case. It's kind of our only chance. Yeah, excuse. Those are 16 instead of 8. Rude. Hercules, so MTG. Yeah. He mad at you? You did it. How dare. First you're like, boom, we're done after this round. And then you're like, just kidding, we're going to play another round. This guy. Do it for the content. All I ever do is things for the content. I would play today if I had to. I don't know, they're checking that right now. I don't necessarily know that everybody can play tomorrow. But that is not necessarily my burden to solve. I can realistically play either. But today would be obnoxious just because I'm tired. I mean, 9 hours plus top 8 is a ridiculously long day. Time to cook the rat, yeah. Maybe we just cook the rat right now and then win or lose, we just be done. I guess. I don't know who most of these people are. Oh, a couple of them are. Majors is first place. Something scuffed. Yeah, I was up pretty late. Well, there's a bunch of seconds and a bunch of thirds and a bunch of fourths. Just don't worry too much about it. Looks like they've fixed it. I am, unfortunately, against the rat. I don't know which matchup I would have preferred. Maybe battling Aaron again. Or possibly No I'm Not. I don't know if my deck is necessarily favored into No I'm Not, but it's possible. Well, we did make it. Here's the top 8. This is what the top 8 looks like. No, I'm Not's on a very similar list. I don't know if they have all the same tech pieces, but it should be pretty similar. They're just on some Jund flavor. It could be whatever the one that they have fully in cold foil, which is just a pretty clean version of the list. He's probably diagnosed with crabs, yeah. It's 8 p.m. Italian time. I don't know. They're still debating right now. So we're going to do it right now. I mean, it's 7:30 p.m. We were up at whatever, 8 o'clock to play. Just when we play 9 rounds and it takes 10 hours, it's pretty brutal, you know? So we'll take a break, and then we'll go. I suppose. 2:30 p.m. Eastern. I mean, we could do it tomorrow. I don't really know why we couldn't. If they get off at 2 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, it's rough. Somebody's got to do a shift at the hospital tomorrow, apparently. So they're not going to be done until... Bro, it's 7:30 p.m. or 7 p.m. right now for me. 7:05. I'm ready to sleep. Get me out of here. Let me be free. Or not. I don't care either way. If they really want to play tonight, I will. It would be nice to be able to rest and then have a fresh mind for it tomorrow. I have been sitting and talking for 10 hours in a row. I think it's potentially just going to be sometime tomorrow afternoon, most likely, from what it looks like. Sometime after like 2:30, so it'll just be a bit later. Maybe, I don't know. I don't really have a clean way of doing this, I guess. So it goes, yeah. I mean, which one do you trolley, right? The 1 or the 7? Sucks, but it is what it is. We're all getting boomed no matter what, because it's just late. Either way. All this hullabaloo for us to just, like, get rat tomorrow. Okay, I'm almost certain that it's going to be tomorrow then, at some point. Whether it's, 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon or whatever the case is, it's going to be tomorrow afternoon. So we will be on and we'll be streaming that as well. I don't know if it necessarily needs to be unanimous for me to be pretty confident that it's going to be tomorrow. Something went wrong with the software and we need to redo the whole event. Well, conveniently, I have it all recorded, so they can just go back to the tape and hit it slow-mo. So thank you, everybody, for watching and hanging out with the day 1 of the 2024 New Year's tournament. Pixelborn. It's pretty sweet. We like it. We'll probably be back on tomorrow then for the top 8, where we're going to be battling the rat again for the second time. They are on a slightly more aggressive version of the deck that we are playing. So we'll have to see if the sort of fidgets and more tempo late game stuff is able to keep up with what they're doing. When they play the Arthurs and stuff. Because the Teeth doesn't necessarily beat Arthur. We're going to do tomorrow, it looks like, sometime in the afternoon. Early afternoon. Mid-afternoon? What does afternoon qualify for? If it's dark at 5 p.m., is the afternoon like noon? Is it just regular noon? Anytime like noon 01? It gets dark here fast. But it'll be tomorrow afternoon. So probably, I don't know, like 15 hours from now or something? Ish. Final person is missing. Who's even missing? I don't even know who's in the top 8, but apparently somebody's missing. Light them on fire. If they don't like it, then too bad. We already voted. We're doing it tomorrow. So thanks for watching. If you are watching on YouTube, I haven't said this all day, please subscribe on YouTube for me so we can try to get to 1,000. It'll be a bit. Want to test the 2K? Not today. Yeah. Appreciate everybody for hanging out, and I will catch you next time. Should we raid somebody? Isn't anybody streaming still? Who even plays this game? What is this? Pixelborn? It's a category that I can follow. Sick. You know what we'll do is I'm going to send you to Thea here. And then make it her problem. And then I will see everybody next time.